Welcome to the Simply Slay Life podcast. I'm Rochelle, or affectionately known as Shell, and this channel is for those women that are looking for inspiration, um, have information on self care, self improvement, and just want to experience conversations where you'll hear funny stories or stories that resonate with you. This is the Simply Slay Life podcast. So let's get into it. I am in the process of doing a 30-day vlogging session on what I'm trying to do to improve myself in the new year. I do not believe in resolutions. So this year I decided to call them resets, right? Because I don't believe in resolutions because most of the time we don't never, it falls off. So I'm resetting myself for the better. And I felt like other women would want to see, hey, is somebody doing it with me and for encouragement. Now my channel has always been about inspiration and inspiring women to be better them, to better themselves and be a better version of themselves and to do what they want to do to simply slay life, right? Whatever way you feel like you need to improve, or if you want to step out on faith and travel, or take a cooking class if you're not a strong cook, whatever your thing is, I'm all for it. If it's a positive thing for you, a positive change for you, go for it. And this is what that channel was. And I'm also one of those people that believe in discussing topics that are that affects my community, that affects women, that affects black women, right, and the family. So you'll see a little bit of everything, but for this 30 days, for us to inspire, to improve, to tune out the stuff that's going on around us that we cannot control, that we can only control ourselves. This is what we're doing so that anxiety doesn't creep in. Okay. So day one, we talked about in the reset motivation, and manifestation. A brief overview about the things I do uh, to motivate myself and to manifest. And that was day one. Day two was called the turning point, time when um, clues when you know it's time to change, right? Little things that happen that make you know, okay, I need to change my mindset. I need to pivot to help this situation out. This no longer serves me a purpose, right? And then day three was wear your power colors. And so I talked about in that video my power color. One of them is yellow, and yellow has always been one of my favorite colors since I was a kid, since about 5 or 6 years old. So hence why I'm kind of yellow. I'm trying to incorporate a piece of yellow in my wardrobe every day. I don't care if it's a bow. I don't care if it's a barrette. I don't care if it's a bracelet, shoes, something. I will be incorporating it for trying to for the rest of the year. Okay, so today, day four, we're going to talk about emotional well being and how that helps your mindset, right? And moves it along to the positive. And you have to have an escape. So, to keep you on an emotional high where you're not in an area where you feel like you are like, oh, I didn't complete that. Oh, I didn't reach that goal. Journal. That's one of the main things that I do. I'm not a strong journaler. I don't get in there every day, but I do journal. And so also because sometimes you don't want to talk about certain things with people, but you need an outlet. And so journaling can help with that. And there's different ways to journal. I am a long-handed journaler. I be writing it all out. I can take up like 4 or 5 pages journaling, but I have to get it out. I know people that do bullet journal or key point journaling where they're just putting in the major factors for them that they were like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened, and that's enough for them. There's other versions where some people don't feel comfortable with writing down anything like that anyway, but they do need an outlet and they want an outlet. I know some people that do uh, video journaling. So they'll sit there with their, you know, with their phone, make a video about it. They're not putting it out there, but that is what it is. That's how they're keeping track. And if you, let's be honest, if we're YouTubing and I'm on here with a podcast, technically I'm vlogging, which can be a version of journaling. Um, because I'm talking about for me what I'm doing to improve my life, right? To improve my health, my life, things like that. And then some people do auto journaling where they record themselves and talk about what happened for that day, and how that they feel, but to also get you out of a slump. When you're journaling, try to refrain from negative self talk. Talk about what had happened and how it could have been different if you would have pivoted and changed it to this. But do not put yourself down. It just helps you look at ways that after you go back and write it out, that you said, "Oh, I could have did that instead. Okay, I know for next time." That's all it is. You're just checking in and you're seeing and getting it out there. But I ask, well, I know for me, I'm not doing any. Well, this was my fault. You know, that was so stupid of me, or I feel like an idiot. No, people make mistakes every day. Find the positive in it, make the correction of it, and at the end of it, still be like, but I learned something from it, right? Because that's you improving. The other thing that I would advise or recommend, because I know I'm doing, and maybe that might work for you, is breath work, right? And I talk about in one of my videos, and it's a version of breath work because that was the only thing I had to rely on. I have a condition with my lungs, and I, it was to the point where I couldn't really uh, walk or anything without using oxygen. And we were in COVID, and I couldn't go. I just got diagnosed, um, and I didn't have a way to go to therapy because everything was shut down. And then the doctors weren't really, because we couldn't do anything. They didn't start talking about me going to breath therapy until like 2023. But by that time, I had been, lo and behold, my friend, YouTube, been on there and was looking at stuff, and I started doing breath work. And it's a yoga. It starts with a P, but I cannot think of its name right now. It's a form of yoga breathing, and that is part of breath work. And that helped me. It was the slow in and then a long breath out. But you had the small little like pants in there, and then deep breath in, hold it, and then pant the breath out, and then a long breath. And then during that time, I'm doing that because I'm seeing this on TV. I'm looking for anything to kind of help it. Um, it was actually building up my lungs. So when it was time, when they were like, okay, we can sign you up for breath therapy, I'm like, I'm back at work. I can't do that. And they were like, well, somebody has to sign you off. And they had a therapist contact me, a respiratory therapist contact me. And I said, I've been walking the treadmill with my oxygen. I've been doing this yoga breathing exercise. And the woman was able to say it. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And she was like, okay, we're going to have you go do a test, and we're going to sign you off because that's what we would have had you do. So I'm thankful that I was putting forth that effort because in my mind, I was determined. And so my emotional well-being was taking a hint, and I was trying to be proactive. I'm trying to come out of this. So another thing that you may want to look at is doing a little small digital detox practices where excuse me, you may say for the weekend, don't watch social media, including me and YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, and all those other social sites, maybe turn it off, right? Tune it out. Um, Binge watch your best show, you know, and so that you can come back on the upside. Because at one point in time, with all the things that's happening, and that's how I was pivoting to talking to my audience, because I was helping people try to stretch the dollar, start, telling them to start gardening, pick up one extra item every time you go to the grocery store, things like that to be mindful of. We may go through some tough times, but to prepare yourselves, in advance. And, but the more and more I was watching it on social media, on the news, on everything, I literally, my anxiety was just flaring up, right? And so I had to stop. I had to stop. I know what's going on. I am aware of it. And for my well being and my mental health, I had to put that aside, right? So sometimes you have to pull back. You know, all I can do is me, you know, and so that's one of the ways that to improve yourself and to set yourself in the new year. If you don't want to hear the negativity, if you don't want to be in a constant state of worry, or you are just trying to improve you, right? Because you can only do what you can do. You you know what you need to do in situations um, that can affect you in the long run. And but for the right now, to make sure you're in your best self and you can hold it together, practice on your well-being, practice on your mindset, practice on your emotional well-being. Find things that bring you joy. So also, another big thing that I'm into for my well-being is, and people laugh at me, but I tell no lies. Psychiatrists have said this. I'm a coloring somebody, and I don't do adult coloring books. That's too intricate for me. I get joy from the coloring books from when I was a kid, So I'm the first one that'll tell you. I'll go into the store. Oh, I see the princess coloring book. Oh, I see the coloring book with all the kids, with all the kids in there playing or whatever, or the one with the dogs, like 101 Dalmatians. Give me a good set of Crayola crayons. At least I do have 64, and then I have the 48 and the 24 pack, and it got to be Crayola crayons, because them other ones, they too waxy. They ain't putting out color like they need to be. I'm a Crayola crayon fanatic. I'm a connoisseur of those, and I will color, right? I will color, and I will color all day. I'm still at the phase. I don't be trying to stay in the lines. I'm not doing that. This is just for me to get in a happy frame, right? So if I go outside the line, oh well, I'm still matching my colors and putting it in, and I'm very much like that. Um, and I remember reading, because my coworkers, where I used to work at, used to come into my office, and if I was having a bad day, I'd be in my office, and somebody would come in and check on me, and I'd be sitting at my desk, and I took a 15-minute break, and I'd be coloring. And they were like, "Oh, it was one of those type of meetings." Yes, it was. And they was like, "Okay, do you want to talk about it?" Nope, I just want to color. And then they were like, "Okay." They were like, "You're on break." I said, "Yeah, I just need good 10 minutes." And they were like, "Okay, you know, let me know when you're ready for your next meeting." I will. Right? It was just that serious for me. Another thing I was into that I have started back doing, um, I used to work at a place where uh, I was an investigator and a workplace investigator. And we had 5 people on our team. I went out for a surgery. I came back. It was me and my supervisor left. Everybody else had quit. But that was because my supervisor was Anyway, he was something special. And so all the investigations for me for 3,500 employees across the state of Texas uh, fell on me. He wasn't trying to help. He wasn't trying to do anything. It was just me. And I was looking for a job, but you know, because I wanted to leave too. They just let me give you a clue. I worked for state government at the time, and you know, people have that old belief that oh, you work for government, that's a good job. That's not always true, and people need to get out that mind frame because in the state of Texas, we don't get raises unless a you friends with somebody or state Congress says it's approved, right? So I didn't know that before I started, but yeah. So everybody's going on, and then I was trying to apply to different places, and places like, oh, you know, people end up thinking, oh, it must be you. Why are you trying to leave? You must be a problem, somebody, because it's government. You got a pension, you got this. I don't get a raise, so I was so drained and burned out. I had like 50 cases a month on my desk that had to be in. Um, Investigation reports typed up by me, interviews done by me, and he would not help me. And the reported it to the director because our supervisors basically is managers. They're not anybody in between. There's no buffer, right? Reported it to the director saying I need some help. Nobody's listening. Oh, well, just take your time. So I became so stressed out and I was so irritated. In one of my previous videos, I tell you, I'm a quiet quitter. Now, you know, in the meantime, I was like, are you trying to find somebody to to bring in? We're missing 4 people. I can't cover all these regions. Oh yeah, I'm trying. And at the end of the day, he was just trying to save money. You know, he's thinking, we'll wait till next year when the budget is better for a year and a half. I was the only one that was doing investigations. He didn't even do investigations. He was handling, in his eyes, other things. So again, I'm in my office and the coloring wasn't getting it no more. And so my other friend, uh, she called me. She works for a different company, and I had been telling her about how everything was happening, and I was so frustrated, and it was draining to me. It was not just physically draining to me; it was mental and emotional draining. I thought I was going to break, right? Because it was a lot, and nobody was listening. And so I'm like, I started having to space my investigation meetings out to the point where the first half of the morning, I was on Pinterest looking at recipes. My mind had to get mentally prepared. And then I said, okay, time for an interview. And then I would interview and do an investigation. And then I would go back and Pinterest. And then say, okay, let me interview this next person. I had to space my interviews out for all these different investigations I had. And because I'm recording them, I'm typing up the notes, I'm doing all these things, but I had to have a mental break. And so I am big on uh, using Pinterest as a way for my emotional well being because I'll sit there and make pins for stuff like clothes, hairstyles, vacations, right? And anything like that to just make me feel better. Or I'll go for a little quick 10-minute walk on my break, things like that because I have to decompress. And for you to help your mindset and emotional well being, sometimes you have to walk away. And you may not be able to walk away permanently at that point in time, but you may be able to walk away for 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do a breather for you mentally and emotionally so you can kind of say it's going to be okay, right? So that's what I do. And those are things I am very guilty of doing and have no problem with saying it. Um, I do that currently. If I'm having one of those days, I'm going to need to check out for 2 minutes. Give me 2 to 5 minutes and I'll be all right. I'll be back, right? And people know, oh, she needed to walk away, right? And it's okay to do so. I don't act like you're going to the bathroom. I gotta go take a restroom break, right? Come back in 5 minutes. You know, I'm gonna take my regular 15 right now. I need to go walk around the building. Right? Get outside, get some sun, let the air hit you. Then, just go outside and stare at the birds if you got to, because you have to recenter. And then when you're at home or in your space and you're just being mindful, where you're like reflecting, reflect on the good times and the positive times, and that will move you so far. I go back and think of, you know, times of when I was a kid with me and my sister and my brother and my mom, and or I'll think of a vacation I went on, or I'll think of a time where something funny happened, um, and it instantly lifts me. And so that may be something that works for you. So when you're focusing on your well being and your journey, let me know, what are some of the things that you do or are going to incorporate into this reset that you're on this journey with me with, um, to do, right? Because I'm always open to suggestions, and I'm pretty sure other people are. They may not have even thought of, oh, that's a good one. I need to do that, right? And let me know in the comment section. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if there's something you would like to talk about our journey, because like I said, while I'm doing this vlog and I'm moving back to what my channel was about, I will focus on, yes, health and wellness, including mental, but not deep dive into mental, because I do life coaching and I do health and wellness coaching. I don't do, I'm not a mental health anybody. So I don't do deep dives like that. I do things that will make you feel better, to just get you on the road to where you need to be. If you need to speak to somebody, if you need to just have somebody kind of hold your hand while you're walking through it, to also know that somebody's here with you going through the same process. I'm that person. Um, I am also going to talk about improving ourselves through financial means. And I'm not a certified financial planner or advisor or anything like that. We just do high level, again, things that I'm doing to incorporate to make it a better for me, to get me in a better situation where I can retire. I'm not trying to work till I got one foot in the grave. So I'm trying to put stuff in place, um, so I can retire at the pace I feel I need to, and with the amount I feel is acceptable for me, right? So we're going to talk about stuff like that. Um, we're also going to talk about uh, re- going on journeys, as far as like if it's travel, if it's a retreat, if it's something like that. Take that time to take that for you. It doesn't have to be you're going on a 5 day cruise or a 4 day plane ride to overseas somewhere to go on vacation. If you just need to do a mini retreat or a 1 day retreat, do it, right? Be with like minded people that are on the same course, right? And that will set you with a renewed spirit, right? To keep you going. So we're going to talk about stuff like that. Again, please, if this video resonates with you and you liked what we talked about today, I ask that you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave a comment. And as always, y'all, thank you for watching the Simply Save Life podcast. Oh, yeah, and hit the notification button so you know when I come on. Because I'm also testing out times, because I need to find out what works best for people, right? So, but I am trying to get on a steady date and time for me to do this continuously. But I am also doing it so that I know what works best for the people that I'm connecting with. So, everybody, y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all tomorrow with a new thing. But this week, we're really focusing on the motivation mindset and the moving in the realm of how we move like that. And so these are all incorporated with the motivation, the manifestation, and the mindset. That is for this week's videos. Next week, we'll move into another set, and I'm going to something that's going to incorporate every week, and I'll talk about it every day of the week in different aspects. Okay, so when I said like one week I'm gonna do financial, my financial could be talking about budget, spending, doing your Roth, increasing your 401k, things like that. Also, getting rid of things that you don't need any longer that can bring in money to you, right? I'm all about that. So, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Y'all have a good one. See y'all tomorrow. And again, thank you for watching the Simply Slay Life podcast. I'm going to get my own name right. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.